Hello, this is my book haul video for April. But before I get into the book haul side, I will just briefly mention an unhaul. Back, I think in the middle of February, I put up two videos called Book Sale, Part 1 and Part 2. I was keen to get rid of those and I got no offers, not surprisingly, from my YouTube videos. So at the end of April, I got in touch with a bookshop I know and asked if they were interested. And they said they might be interested in the paperbacks only. So I took the trays down to that bookshop because I had a day at the coast to enjoy the weather at the end of the month. And I sold them those books. Now, I think in total that bookshop probably would have put them up for, in total, £160. Whether they would have ever sold them all, I don't know. But rather naively, I hoped I might get £40 for the two trays. I got 25, which I accepted. So most of those books that were shown in those videos have now been sold. And I'm getting closer to clearing the pile of trays that was blocking my door to my wardrobe. While I was in that bookshop, I bought one book, which I will show you, which was this one, Deathwing over Vanar by Douglas Hill. It's one of the 4 books in the Young Legionary series. As you can see, not a very good dust jacket. I think I'm going to have to repair that with sellotape on the inside. Unless anyone's got any other suggestions. I don't know whether you can see any better, but it's not the greatest condition. But it is a first printing, and it was the last first printing I needed to have a set of first printings. However, mine range from a very nice signed or inscribed copy to one that is still ex-library and rather poor condition. So I have the 5 because there, as well as the 4 in the main series, there's also a book called Young Legionary. So that I bought in that bookshop. I mean, it's a bookshop that has the equivalent of about 3 or 4 full-sized bookcases of SF. But to be honest, there was nothing else there that really tempted me. While I was on that trip to the coast, I did buy 3 other books, which I will show you now. The first one is this. So it's not SF. It's the Thursday Murder Club, but it was signed. And it was only £1.50. Now, this isn't the greatest condition. There's a little tear there. It's also torn or worn at the bottom of the hinge. But I thought for £1.50 to get a signed copy, it was probably worthwhile. And when I was coming back, my wife and I decided to stop on the way home, and we were halfway back, so we searched for a coffee shop on Google, picked one, and I was amazed to find there was a used book charity bookshop within about I don't know, 50 to 100 yards of the coffee shop that we picked. And I bought 2 books there. The first one is this, J.R.R. Tolkien, Letters from Father Christmas. This book is based on cards he sent to his children or grandchildren at Christmas with little short stories on it. And the family have collected them all together, and this book has resulted. Lovely condition, no indications of printing in it, so I'm assuming it's a first. I'd not seen before, and I thought at £1 very reasonable. And the only mass market, or sorry, A format paperback that I bought this month is this one from the same shop, Rune by Christopher Fowler. Beautiful condition, the first printing as such, and it was only £1. Now I have a couple by Christopher Fowler, but he's not someone I've ever collected or indeed read. But I thought for £1, very reasonable. So that was my trip to the coast. I'm now going to go back to a book that I bought in March. And I bought it off of eBay and I received it in March, but condition wasn't what I hoped for. It was sold as being like new. So I was in touch with the seller and I agreed a further discount to reflect the condition. It was, I thought, warped. So I've kept it under a pile of heavy hardbacks for a month, and it has straightened out very significantly. But I'll talk about the warping a bit more in a moment. And it's this one, Wild Seed by Octavia Butler. It looks to be in lovely condition, and I can understand why the seller perhaps said it was new, but it was bad, what I thought was badly warped, and the pages inside had a massive wave in. When I later investigated, after I'd agreed, and I don't know whether I can show you, a matter of getting the light, and I can't seem to get the light right. You can see at the bottom of the front cover, you can see a crease in the dust jacket, and that is replicated on the front board. So it is a light crease the whole length of the front cover. So that's why I negotiated a discount. With the discount, I think it came to £85 with postage. So I thought that was reasonable. So a little bit about that series. There were 5 in the series. 4 were printed in hardback in the UK by Sidgwick and Jackson. And this is a first printing. I now have 3 of the 4. Book 5, you have to buy an American edition, which I haven't yet got. So I will be on the lookout for that, I suppose, in due course. So this was my big buy recently. And I bought it because it doesn't turn up very often at all. So that was my purchase from last month. Now I'll get on to what I bought this month. And the other slightly expensive set that I bought, this is the last of the paperbacks I will show you. This is a trade paperback, so massive. And it's called Range of Ghosts. It's by Elizabeth Bear. And it's the first book in a trilogy. And I had to pay £5 for this, which I thought was a bit over the odds, and I would never have bought it but for the fact that I was able to get the next 2 in the series, which I will show you now. This, I believe, is number 2, Shattered Pillars. It's the first hardback in virtually as new condition. And if I'm careful, it is signed. So I was very pleased to get that. And I also got book 3, which is Steles, I don't know quite how you pronounce that, Steles of the Sky, and that is also signed. I have 1 or 2 others by Elizabeth Bear, but I have to admit I have never read any books by her. But I am a bit of a sucker for signed books, so I did feel I had to buy all 3. So at some point I hope to find the first book in hardback. Now I'll show you the other books I bought this month, all of which were, I think, pretty much £3 or £4. The first one is this, Terry Pratchett, A Stroke of the Pen. I'm not going to say too much about this. I did in one of my recent videos show you the first paperback printing which I picked up. And what I will just show you is, I don't know whether you can see, just down there, you may not be able to see, is a 7, which means it's, I think, means it's a 7th printing. They don't do it with a number string anymore. And I have seen a new copy with a 1. So I assume that means it was the first printing. So this is presumably a 7th printing. But I'm fond of getting Terry Pratchett, so even though it's a reprint, I thought I would get it. The next book I'm going to show you is this one. Some Kind of Fairy Tale. As you can see, it's signed by the author. And it's published in June 2012. It's not numbered, but it says it's one of 1,500 first edition copies. Now, I've only one other novella by Graham Joyce, which was in one of the British doubles that I showed you in my series of short videos. I've never read anything by Graham Joyce. It looked interesting, and the chance to get a signed book seemed too good to pass up. Next one I'll show you is this. It's Unraveller by Frances Hardinge. Pretty much perfect condition, blue edges, plain. And this one is signed, and it's number 1154 of 1200. Frances Hardinge is one of those authors which I only tend to buy if they're signed, and there are 2 or 3 authors that perhaps on the fringes of mainstream SF, where by and large I only buy them if they're signed. Another, for example, might be Michelle Paver, for example. So I have bought her books. They're not particularly collectible, but if I see a signed copy, I buy them, and I'm still trying to pick up her main set all signed. I have several, but not all of them. The next book is this, Son of Blood and Ruin by Marielle Lares. Never heard of her before. The book is in lovely condition, and it's got nice artwork on the side of the book. It is signed. Oh, I actually still got the receipt, and I paid £1.50 for this, which I thought was a good buy. And it is a Fairy Loot exclusive. I don't think it's rare, but a beautiful book for £1.50 I thought was too nice to refuse. The next book I'm going to show you is this one, The Art of Destiny by Wesley Chu. This is book 2 of the War Arts saga. As you can see, art on the edge of the book, otherwise black. It's not signed. I have got this in paperback, but I also have the first book in the series in hardback, I believe. So I couldn't resist this. I think it was about £3 or £4. I can't remember exactly. Oh, hang on. I can tell you. Oh, no, sorry. It was quite a lot dearer. It was £9.99. But I didn't know when I would see another copy, so I thought that was worth buying. Finally, I'm going to show you 2 books that I'd never ever seen before I saw them. They're book club books, but 2 that I'd never seen. And they were an omnibus of the 4 books in the series, which were originally published in paperback. And as far as I know, there's never been a hardback. Now, I might be wrong. Please correct me if I am. So I'm going to start off and show you volume 1, which is the first 2, includes the first 2 books that were published in paperback. and it's the Wind Singers Quartet by Megan Lindholm, who, as you probably know, also writes as Robin Hobb. And this book club was published in 2002, and the original books were published in 1983. Now, condition isn't perfect. It's got one or two pages where there's a corner turned, and I haven't tried to correct. There's some wear, the top and bottom of the hinges. So not perfect condition, but I'd never seen before. And I quite like her work, so I thought I would buy. Now I'll show you book volume 2, slightly better condition. Wind Singers Quartet volume 2. And this one was also published in 2002, but the original books were published in 1983 and 1989. So, an unusual book. Please put something in the comments if you know something about hardcover printings. Now, I have a number of Robin Hobbs signed, and from memory she did 3 trips to the UK between 2013 and 2017, and I did get some books signed by her when she visited. Then COVID came along, and I think I read somewhere that she probably wasn't going to travel again, and she's almost exactly the same age as I am. So if anyone knows her, try and persuade her she should come back to the UK, because I would like to get those 2 signed if at all possible. So that's it for my book haul for April. I hope you enjoyed. I'll now sign off.